The XB-70 Valkyrie was one of the most ambitious aircraft projects in history. It was designed by North American Aviation in the 1950s, during a time when the Cold War was driving rapid military innovation. The United States needed a bomber that could fly faster and higher than any fighter or missile could reach. That's where the XB-70 came in. This aircraft wasn't just fast, it was incredibly fast. It could reach Mach 3 times the speed of sound, while flying at altitudes around 70,000 feet at that height. The curvature of the Earth is visible and the sky starts turning black. The Valkyrie was designed to fly above enemy defenses, drop nuclear weapons if necessary, and return safely. The XB-70 was powered by 6 General Electric YJ-93 jet engines. Each engine was capable of producing over 30,000 pounds of thrust with afterburners. All 6 engines together gave the plane the power to break through the atmosphere at extreme speeds. The aircraft was built from heat-resistant materials like stainless steel and titanium, flying at Mach. CH-3 created so much heat from air friction that normal materials would have melted or cracked. To solve this, engineers developed a honeycomb sandwich structure that was both light and strong, and could handle the heat. One of the most fascinating design features was the folding wingtips. At high speeds, the wings would tilt downward by 25 degrees. This helped increase stability and improve the aircraft's aerodynamic efficiency. It also added something called compression lift, where shock waves from the nose and wings added extra upward force, reducing drag and saving fuel. The Valkyrie's nose could also droop, just like the Concorde later did. This made it easier for the pilot to see the runway during landing and taxiing in the air. The nose would rise back into its streamlined position to cut through the air. The cockpit and systems were far ahead of their time. Pilots wore special high-altitude pressure suits in case they needed to eject at extreme altitudes. The interior was packed with advanced avionics, radar, and computer-assisted flight controls that were rare in the 1960s. Now, with all these amazing features, you might think the Valkyrie became a key part of the U.S. Air Force. But that never happened. The world changed before the Valkyrie could become operational. By the early 1960s, the military started relying more on intercontinental ballistic missiles. ICBMs could deliver nuclear weapons much faster and with greater accuracy. So the need for a fast, high-flying bomber became less important. Another issue was cost. The XB-70 was extremely expensive to build and operate. Each prototype cost hundreds of millions of dollars in today's money. The government decided that it wasn't practical to continue. Only 2 prototypes were ever built. They were used mostly for high-speed research and testing. One of the 2 was destroyed in a tragic accident during a test flight in 1966, when it collided with another aircraft midair. The remaining XB-70 was retired and is now on display at the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. It stands as a symbol of what engineers can achieve when they push the limits of technology. Even though the Valkyrie never became a production aircraft, it had a huge influence on future designs. Its research data helped create the SR-71 Blackbird, one of the most legendary spy planes ever built. It also inspired engineers working on Concorde and other supersonic technologies today. We're entering a new age of hypersonic flight, aircraft that go even faster than Mach 5. And many of the lessons learned from the XB-70 still apply. The Valkyrie was not just a plane, it was a vision, a look into the future of flight. It showed us how far human technology could go, even in the 1960s. Even now, over 50 years later, the XB-70 remains one of the most impressive aircraft ever created.